What is up, my little Danos? Vepsisi, Yokotsu to Helsinki and Dragas, and we are here for the PBL Season 3 Week 5 battle when I go up against Iron Buffin, somebody that I never got to play before. He's actually somebody that I remember watching all the way in the Ultra Sun and Moon days, right before I actually took my first steps to becoming a YouTuber and becoming a Wi-Fi player as well. I remember seeing his name playing in the Wi-Fi leagues at the time, so it's pretty cool to get a chance to play him today for the first time. And he hasn't played actually Draft League since the Ultra Sun and Moon before this season, but he has done well for himself. We are both 2-2, I believe, coming into this game, so it does have quite a bit of importance. I'm quite happy with the preparation that I have and I feel confident, but there are some things that if he brings that I'm gonna be a little worried of what he could have. He has a Sun team, as you can see right about now on your screen, compared to my own roster, so he does have the Sun team along with Rory Moon and Terra Venus, so which is terrifying to go up against, and then he obviously have some other threats there too to worry about. So his team is very terrifying to go up against, particularly my own team doesn't necessarily like it as much as a weather compared to rain. So there are some things that I have to adjust on and see that how I can handle them, and I feel like I have a team to combat what he has to offer to me. But we're gonna find that out that soon, as I'm gonna be cutting out here and we're gonna be seeing what he brings. Alright, here we are with the battle as we are searching with Iron Buffing, and this should hopefully work out just fine, and we do manage to find each other, so perfect. Now I get to see what he brings, as same as for you, of course. So we see pretty much what I was expecting. Only one that I wasn't sure about was the Galvantula. So he brought both of his Terra Captains to this, but I'm still expecting the Venusaur to be the Terra Captain, but we'll have to wait and see of his choices. What did he not bring? He didn't bring Koldenko then instead. Okay. And then Rory Moon and Cresselia, of course. So based on the way he's made the team, I wanna say Azumarill is like a Southwest for my Hydreigon that I didn't bring. He could have also... yeah, I think that would be my guess going to this. Galvantula, I'm not necessarily sure what it's gonna be doing. It could be Sticky Webs, off the chance I brought Okerbone. And I would imagine the Venusaur is dedicated one to be terrorized, but I think I'm gonna just lead with my Hydrapple being Brad this week, because it's gonna be pretty much fully physically defensive, and Terra Fairy to deal with the Roaring Moon, and I wanna be able to get that Terra off. But good luck and have fun to Iron Buffin. We said this in Discord, but just for the video's sake as well. And we see the Azumarill as the lead, okay. As I'm gonna be leading with my Brad, so this could be like huge power set, but it could also be Sap Zipper. Because he didn't bring the Goldenko, Jan is pretty free play for me, in a sense. Because the only thing that can really pivot out easily afterwards is like Roaring Moon or Galvantula, but other things are kind of stuck to stay in here. So I think I'm gonna go for that. I just want to get my Terralization off, as he seems to be just staying in here. So we're gonna see what he does here. This could also be a Sap Zipper Assault Vest, because Sap Zipper would allow him to deal with my grass types, being the Ogerborn Wellspring, as well as the Hydrapple. So he does go for the play rough. Oh, that did all. Okay, that was a critical hit. No wonder. Okay, that definitely says to me that that is definitely huge power. Now I need to see from that damage. I'm not happy about the crit whatsoever, obviously, because this is also important to deal with the... okay, this might be Choice Bandit now looking at it, because I'm at 121 HP. Yeah, that looks like the critical hit tells me that it's a Choice Bandit. So in a way I wish I was actually going for Giga Drain there, but I guess I covered my bases there a little bit. I think for now I could go into my Swampert here. He is also relatively fast with that thing as well. Which is at least good to know. I think for now I'll go into my Steve, because it's also was here for Koldenko, which wasn't brought, and I wanna say I would have lived any hit. But we do see the Cresselia, okay. So I'm kinda okay with that. I'm able to gain some health back on my Brad, but that banded choice banded player of Defu is gonna be something that I have to worry about. But it's good to know for my Tornado Starion that has Sludge Bomb and Nasty Plot set on it. For now, do I wanna just go for Stealth Rocks here? Do I go for a Yan again? Yan pretty much covers like aggressive swap into a Sumeril that I would be happy about to cover here. He could also go into Galvantula here or Venusaur. I think for now I wanna make sure the Azumarill doesn't come in here for free, so I'm gonna go for Yan and follow it up with Stealth Rocks. It's gonna be funny that he sees Yan on 2 of my things right away, but I cannot let the... Okay, he goes into the Torkoal to get up his Sun, as I'm gonna be going for the Yan here. So he wanted to get this thing in before the Stealth Rocks would go up. I am especially defensive, so I know I can leave a Solar Beam unless this is very offensive. So I'm gonna just go for my Stealth Rocks here now. Just to make sure that now that I'm also utilizing Yan quite a bit, I wanna make sure the things start get punished for that. Let's see. We do see the Solar Beam. Unless you're offensive, I'll leave this hit. Because I'm very especially defensive with you. Yeah, we'll take that. And I have the Citrus Berry, so now I know this thing is gonna be falling to sleep, which is nice. Cool. So the Lawrence, the Torkoal is asleep right now. And this allows me to go for a flip turn here. Hopefully I'll learn in something like a Cresselia here, which would be really nice. Because then I hopefully get in my Greedent to put in some work. But let's see what he goes into. He does go into the Cresselia. Okay, so this is a turn where I'm gonna be utilizing my Greedent, I wanna say. I could also go into my Tornado Starion that can Nasty Plot here. But I think realistically this is the best chance for Greedent to get up its belly drum. So we are gonna be going to the Greedent that I'm really excited to bring this week, because it's here to wall break with the belly drum. And I don't know if Iron Buffin knows necessarily exactly what this Pokemon can do, because he played last time in Ultra Sun and Moon, and this is a Gen 8 Pokemon. But I'm gonna be going for the belly drum here. As he does. Ooh, he has screens on it. Okay. Interesting. At least he has a reflect on it. I don't know if it has dual screens, but that's a good break from his side. That's probably the one way for him to handle this guy at full health, but I'm gonna be still hurting quite a bit. The things that are coming in, and I'm gonna be going for a knockoff. He could swap into something like a Sumeril, but then I get rid of the choice band, which is really lovely. So I'm gonna go for the knockoff. Removing item right now is just really good. And if I can trade that for the Azumarill coming in, I'll happily take it. I do still have Tornado Starion that can also break through this Cresselia, and I have Lumberry in a case of like a Thunder Wave from his side. But let's see what he does. He's not necessarily in a position that he likes to bring too many things, even behind a Reflect, because I am +6 attack still. So it's gonna be hurting something. Follow it up with a... he does go for the Psychic. Which does a decent damage. As I go for the knockoff, and let's see what the item was. Yeah, it was likely. And I think for now I'm still okay for going for a knockoff, because it should finish you off. And I again wanna be able to remove a potential item coming into its way. So I go for another knockoff, and I'm stalling out potential screens. Well, the reflect, even if he tries to stay in. But yeah, he does go for another psychic, so I get rid of the Cresselia, which is good for me. The Pokemon that I still fear the most is definitely that Choice Bandit Azumarill, and I just have to eventually get rid of it, but this could be a case where he can claim one here. But Greedent at very least was able to 1v1 a Cresselia, which you don't get to see every day, so good job Greedent. I'm happy about that extent still, that I'm able to at least get one of his walls through that. And Torko is asleep at the moment still. It's mainly that Azumarill I need to find a way to get around with. And knowing that it's very speedy, I also know my Conkeldurr set doesn't outpace it, which is unfortunate. I have to check actually after this. He makes his choice of who he does go into that, how many turns of Sun we have got to see as the Azumarill comes in. I would say that's like 76% of HP now that he's in, just to... So now let's check the status. So he is Heat Rock on it. Okay. That's good to know. So now I need to figure out who is my best choice of letting go here. Greedent at half health may not be the most valuable compared to the rest of my team. Like even Swampert can be nice electric immunity in case Galvantula is choiced. So unfortunately Greedent, I think we're gonna let you go down here. He does go for the player off and land, and that's obviously gonna kill my Greedent, but we'll take that for now. And here, I need to see that if my High Trapple can live a hit. It's gonna be 1, 2, 5, 9 versus a Azumarill. There is no Stealth Rocks up. I should be able to live a hit from it. So I should go into that and just go for a Giga Drain here. Just to get some damage on it. Yeah. We'll go into High Trapple. In a case he swaps, I do still gain Regenerator here. So I'm just gonna go for the Giga Drain here. If he values the damage on this thing, opening up the Roaring Moon is a perfectly reasonable play as well. He doesn't have too many Sun turns to abuse here though, until he gets his Torkoal in, because it was like 2 turns at the time when I sent this thing out of 8 turns. And I do have Earth Power for the Torkoal, so I can start hitting it as well afterwards. He does withdraw this time around, okay. So I'm able to get some health back on this guy as he goes into the Galvantula, okay. He's unnerved with it, okay. And no heavy duty boots either, okay. That's a good amount of chip. Because it's a critical hit. Don't know if it's gonna matter a whole lot necessarily here. And the sunlight has fainted. For now, I might actually prioritize... Okay, so I have 2 options. Either I stay in and take this thing out, or I go into my Conkeldurr. I wanna say based on how much HP I need on my High Trapple, I shouldn't wanna take this hit, but he could also Volt Switch. He could always Volt Switch, and if he Volt Switches into the Azumarill, it can also be pretty bad. But my gut says that he wants to hit what is in front of him, so for now I'm gonna go into my Conkeldurr actually. Because I think if I allow this thing get too low, then Azumarill gets to claim one. So I'm gonna go into my Conkeldurr here. He does go for the Volt Switch. Okay. So that means that I have to let go my Swampert next. That will be essentially what needs to happen afterwards. The other thing is that if he doesn't know that how much speed I have on my Conkeldurr, he might be scared of going to the Asumari, but I would imagine that's his play. And I cannot let this thing go down, because it's very good for Roaring Moon. Oh. So, he goes into Venusaur right away, so this tells me that it's definitely Terra Fairy. Check status, yeah, I wanted to see, like... Yeah, there's no sun up whatsoever. This makes me think it's just Terra Fairy. It's gonna be clicking a Fairy move here. I could go into my Tornadus, because it has Sludge Bomb to hit it. Which I think is fair, actually. I'm gonna... Instead of staying in and going for a Poison jab, calling the Terra Fairy, I'm gonna just go into my Tornadus, because the sun is not up either. So he's gonna Terralize. I'm expecting Terra Fairy. Yeah. So we are probably gonna see Terra Blast here. Yeah. See how much it does. It could be Life Orb. I would imagine, at least. That did a lot. Yeah, it's a Life Orb set. So for me, I do have Sludge Bomb to hit this guy with. And I wanna say I do a decent amount to it, to the point that it might just die to Life Orb Recall afterwards. Yeah, it would do a decent amount to this thing afterwards. So I wanna say I'll do that and preserve still my other guys. I wanna go for the Sludge Bomb here and get some good damage on it. As I do go for the Sludge Bomb, and we do take it out, that's fantastic. Oh, I get a critical hit. I'm sorry if that mattered. That's pretty big though. But I think, compared to the Galvantula crit with the Giga Drain, I think that one is more... It makes up more for the fact what happened turn 1, because my Hydrapo should have been a little bit higher health earlier on, but it is one of those that definitely matters, similar to do like turn 1, but that one basically just allowed me guaranteed to take a Venusaur, whereas otherwise I don't know if that's a roll or not. It could have honestly been a case that maybe he was able to live in a Smith's, and then like Life Orb takes it out. He does go into the Galvantula, making me think this is Choice Scarf to me. So he only has one turn of doing this, unless he managed to get the webs back up. I can still technically go into Conkeldurr here. But I could also go into my Swampert in a case of like, if he goes for like a Crash move to take out my Swampert here. Yeah, the way he's playing this is Scout, so if he goes into Swampert, or if I go into Swampert on his Giga Drain, it means that I essentially get a free of choice going to anything else after. But also the way he brings it in, it makes it seem like, okay, you're like screaming to me to be Assault Vest. I think I'm gonna go with the Swampert play. He may go for a Giga Drain, but that means that it gives me a free turn into Tornadus Therian again. So I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, he does go for the Volt Switch. This definitely makes me think that it was Choice Stall this time. Now if he reveals the Giga Drain, then I'm completely wrong, but then I go into Conkeldurr after and deal with it 1v1. Earthquake is really free here. It does good amount of damage to anything that's left, so I'll go for Earthquake in case that I do call this right, being Choice Scarf. So I'm gonna go for the Earthquake, because it does good amount of damage to anything, to the point that it should leave things in a range of my other guys. Like if I get this damage on a Sumaril, it should be in a range of Sludge Bomb. If I get this damage on Roaring Moon, it should be in a range of my Mach Punch. Takes out the Galvantula, obviously. Torko, depending on its spread. I think Torko gets 2-hit KO because it's not heavy duty boots. So I think the Earthquake is fine here. Yeah. Yeah, he figured that was the case, so me calling that one out means that he had to let this thing go down. So which is huge, because that's one of the form of speed control he had left. Outside of getting the Sun up with the Torko, which is still asleep. He does go into Smoke, which is the Azumarill. So I wanna say it's gonna outpace me. I'm gonna actually check, like, if I can gain any more information out of you. That I'm 62 with you. I might be able to outpace this if he only spec ripped me by a little bit. He spec ripped me a little bit more than a little bit, so that's fair enough. So now, let's see, Azumarill. That is Choice Bandit set. I could go into simply into my High Trapple, cause it can Giga Drain here. Cause then Casta, Berry, Diance's a failsafe, as well as Conkeldurr to the other guys. So yeah, I think we go into our Brad here. We know based on the turn 1 that we live any one hit from full, even a critical hit. So we go for a Giga Drain here. If he goes into Roaring Moon, I have obviously Terra Blast Fairy to take it out. If he goes into Torko, it's gonna take Stealth Rocks into Giga Drain into our Earth Power. And it hasn't been a turn of sleep yet, so I think I'm in a good position right now with this. We see the Lawrence, yep. So it's gonna be taking the Stealth Rocks into Giga Drain right to its face. And which doesn't do a whole lot, but I do still have Earth Power to follow this one up. So we're gonna go for that. Brady's get the chance to do some work. It's huge that I got to get it in a high health. And now we take care of the Torko, which is good. So now he has only Roaring Moon left and the Azumarill, which is probably like 64% right now before taking Stealth Rocks again. And for the Roaring Moon, I have this guy already out on the field at full health. So Brad is perfectly fine actually versus the last two things that are coming out. Like, I should be able to 1v1 one of them. Then I have Casta Peridines in the back with Endor. And I have Conkeldurr with Mark Punch. So he has to go into Azumarill to get any damage on me. I will just Giga Drain and gain anything back that I can from the remaining health. He goes for the Belly Drum. He goes for the Play Rough, gets the attack drop, which doesn't obviously matter, and then the Rocky Helmet in the Giga Drain will take you out. Wonderful. And we might be in a range of leaving a hit from a Roaring Moon, depending on his set. But any kind of like a Rocky Helmet chip is huge right now. Moon Presence comes out. He takes the Stealth Rocks. And what do we see being raised? Speed. So this could be like Jolly Choice Bandit, for example. But I'm gonna go for the Terra Blast. Brad might be able to actually clean this out at the late game, which would be pretty happy for me. I love always seeing my Brad, the Hydrapple, coming in and doing some work this season. Like, it's been able to do so many things for me. He does go for the Earthquake. Doesn't even have potentially Iron Head for me, so that is pretty nice for me. So Brad is able to take out the Roaring Moon, and we are able to win this in a 4-0 fashion. Frankly, caveat to it, that critical hits did happen in this game. Getting the critical hit on the Venusaur definitely did, I think, like, matter in a sense that in case of living or not. But seeing in big scheme of things, assuming that it would have died to the Life Orb recall, Tornado Styrian did not hit the field afterwards. So in that sense, if you look at how things played out afterwards, as long as the Venusaur wasn't able to do a whole lot by living afterwards, it shouldn't really matter too much of the outcome other than the differential. But that, I'll leave that aside for smarter people than me to figure out, like, as a third person, how much that mattered or not. But Regardless, good game to Iron Buffy, make sure to check him out down below in the description, as well as all of the courses in the league, so there's gonna be a lot of important games, including this one that happened, because both of us were in 2-2 regards to the playoff race. And something that I want to start mentioning, make sure to check out also the first name at the top of the description, who is a good friend of my, Detective Butters, who does my thumbnails this season, and she does fantastic job with them, as I hope you have noticed. And I just want to make sure that in a case you're a smaller content creator like myself, that is not really crafty and well suited to do any kind of photo shooting, Photoshop shenanigans, she's a very good at that job, because she has an actual degree to do that kind of stuff. So make sure to check her out and give her a notice, or make contact with her if you're a smaller content creator like me and looking for somebody to help with thumbnails. I highly encourage her. But until next week, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys later.